Hello viewers there, welcome to special discussion segment on NTA Sokoto Network Center with a hero of success. The hero of success is no doubt a shining star of the moment whose actions are closely watched, making him like a golden fish who has no hiding place. The hero of success, to borrow a leaf from a popular writer, his meteoric rise in politics, innovative and inclusive approach to governance have kept him permanently in the eyes of the public. This hero is no other person than the Executive Governor of Sokoto State, Right Honorable Aminu Waziri Tambol, CFR, the Matawalli of Sokoto Caliphate. Your Excellency, you are welcome.
Thank you very much.
You assumed the mantle of leadership in 2015, to be specific, on the 29th of May that year. What were your missions then to the state?
Thank you very much for having me. To the glory of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when we assumed the leadership of the great Sokoto state, our mission and vision for the state was clearly to take it from where we met it to greater heights, to place it on a pedestal that it can compete favorably and its people favorably with the rest of the states of the country in terms of human capital development, in terms of infrastructural development, and in terms of the general well-being of the people of the state, and particularly in 3-4 key areas. One is the education sector, second is the healthcare services, third, agriculture, and fourth, the empowerment and human capital development of the people of the state. That was our mission and vision.
Your Excellency, continuity in governance continued to be a critical phenomenon, especially to the successive Democrats. Why do you choose to carry along projects being inherited that were not completed by your predecessor, and even some that were inherited by your predecessor that were abandoned? To be specific, divisional high courts in Sokoto State were awarded since 2006.
Well, you see, one thing about governance, and all of us should, as leaders, imbibe that principle, is that when you meet projects that are not completed by the previous administration, that you succeed. You should always have it at the back of your mind that these are resources of the people, first, that are being expended, and secondly, the projects are for the people. And nothing personal to you or between you and the previous administration. So it behoves on you as a leader, as a true leader of the people, elected by the people, to complete those projects. And if you have any reason to review them, in terms of concept, if you have better ways of improving on them, just the way we did the Sokoto International Conference Center, we met it awarded, and no mobilization was given to the contractor. We met the drawings. We decided to, okay, let's look at the drawings. We looked at the drawings and improved on the drawings, and we delivered on the project. When we met the house, the Columbine Housing Estate, it was not completed. We decided to complete it and completed the payment to the contractor. The ongoing 500 housing units in Guinea-Salenki, we are completing it. The power project, we are still on it, almost 90% completed. When you look at the Argentina cattle breeding program, the previous administration had expended over 2 billion, so we had to look for about 1.5 to 2 billion naira to complete it. So for me, the philosophy is that as someone who is a leader of the people, if you meet a project, if you have any reason to review it, you can review it and then but try to complete it. After all, these two are for the people. The resources are for the people and the projects are for the people.
What of the divisional high courts?
The divisional high courts, I met them really abandoned by the succeeding administration, and one was in Isa, the second one, Godaba, the third one, Tambol. We decided to complete them, and we have completed them. We are now at the stage of furnishing them. They were started by the government of His Excellency Bafrawa, but we have completed them now.
Your Excellency, one of the earliest decisions by your administration was the declaration of state of emergency on education. What informed that decision?
When we came on board, I invited experts from educational sector, from health sector, from agri sector, and tasked them to give us the responsibility of coming up with a roadmap. Of course, we have had our programs that we came on board with, but we wanted to see, as practitioners, what they have that can guide us better. And part of the recommendation we received from the committee headed by Professor Iskoe Arabu Shehu, the former Vice Chancellor of Usman Danfodio University, was that we should declare a state of emergency because there was the need for us to do things that ordinarily we probably may not be able to do if we do not declare that state of emergency, and to draw attention to the very, very unfortunate situation of the educational sector in the state. So we did that, and we're still working on that report, and we're implementing the report given to us by that committee, and we can see, even from the indices, the improvement that we have gotten in that sector in the state.
Your Excellency, 6 years into your administration, that is 2 years into your second term, have you been able to, or how much of your missions have you been able to accomplish, and how prepared are you to see that you accomplish the remaining part of your missions?
Well, for me, I think I always prefer allowing the people to judge what we are doing. But having asked me, I will say that so far, from my own personal assessment of what I had on the table, on the card, in the kitty for the people of Sokoto State, I can say that by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have done 60-65%, and I believe that in the next 2 years, we should be able to get to 80-85% of what we wanted to do for the people of Sokoto State.
Always in your annual budgetary allocations, education sector is the top priority, followed by health sector. What informed choosing health to be second in your priority attention in Sokoto State?
When you look at the indices, when we came on board of the health sector in Sokoto, we were very low. Every negative indices was associated with that sector in Nigeria, when you look at the past records. So we needed to really pay attention to healthcare services delivery, improve healthcare service delivery to the people of Sokoto. So that was why we robustly engaged in renovation of existing health facilities, and of course building new ones, and training and retraining of health workers, and providing medicaments and equipment to the health centers in the state. Which every society is very important, and that is why we felt that we needed to really pay attention to that.
How have your administration been responding to the farmers' needs, including the transition from peasant farming to agribusiness to ensure food security?
Well, first and foremost, as I said, we ensured that we had an assessment of the agricultural sector of the state carried out by experts, and we were advised accordingly on what to be doing. And it will interest you to know that part of what they told me, which I believe is correct, is that tractor is not the #1 priority of a farmer. What the farmer rather needs are more of the seeds, improved seedlings, farm inputs like fertilizers, insecticides, herbicides, and all of those. They are more critical to the farmers than even a tractor. And of course, so we decided to say let's prioritize and give our farmers what they need. And we carried out a survey of virtually all the farmers in Sokoto State, and we have the data of what crop each of them possibly, given the size of his farm and given the location of his farm. So we paid attention to the peasant farmers by providing subsidies, very heavy subsidies on fertilizers and agri inputs, which we are still doing. And we paid attention also to providing irrigation and handheld small tractors for peasant farmers in the state. And of course, we invited a number of farmers and asked them to identify what they want to do for government to support them in terms of either giving them seedlings, in terms of also giving them bigger lands, farmlands. So we are addressing the needs of the peasant farmers, and even those in agribusiness and those who are bigger in terms of farming business in the state. And we encourage someone who is a Nigerian to establish a small fertilizer factory in the state, and in partnership with the investment company, which is still running, and they are still providing fertilizers to the people of the state. We have been, of course, encouraging other small fertilizer producing plants that are around the state. And of course, we have, in collaboration with the federal government, now brought in OCP Morocco that are in Sokoto and trying to establish a fertilizer plant worth about $13 million US. So that is also coming with some transfer of technology and techniques in agric mechanization. And so we are doing all of that to support both the peasant farmers and the large-scale farmers in the state. Of course, we took advantage of the Uncle Borrower program of the federal government. We got to the extent in Sokoto State of even paying for our farmers the initial fees for them to open their accounts. They couldn't even afford fees. I mean, monies for deposits for opening of account. We had to pay as a government to encourage our farmers to take advantage of that program. And also the AADS program by the Central Bank of Nigeria. We right now are having about 4 billion naira that we are now going to give our farmers in the state for them to increase in their capital. And also we are collaborating with Africa Development Bank and the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, reclaiming the quarry irrigation scheme that is ongoing, rehabilitating it and making sure that we make it available for farmers to use. So we are injecting and putting a lot of efforts in promoting agriculture in the state, which we believe 80–85% of the people are dependent upon.
Your Excellency, Nigeria joined other nations of the world to suffer the backdrop of economic recession that affect the entire globe. And even now, Nigeria is among the nations of the world facing the critical challenges of the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, which makes some state governors are now having lot of months of unpaid salaries. Some are even deciding to downsize the workforce. And here in Sokoto State, despite these challenges, you are awarding contracts and re-awarding contracts. What is the secret?
Well, I believe it's all about financial management and prudence and managing the resources that you have, and working hard to improve on the IGR of the state. This is what it's all about. And as you rightly said, we are not owing any worker, to my knowledge, in Sokoto till today, any salaries. We are paying pension, and we are still reducing the volume of gratuity that our retirees are benefiting from. And of course, as you rightly said, we are still carrying out some infrastructural projects, despite our huge investments in education, in healthcare, in agriculture, and empowerment.
How did you meet the remittance level of the internally generated revenue in Sokoto, and what measures have you taken to see that you change the figures for the better?
Well, it wasn't encouraging. What we met on ground was not encouraging. Even the staff themselves and the Board of Internal Revenue itself was looking and seeking for better attention. So we had to, what we did was to actually initially dissolve the management and then brought in some more competent hands and with better experience in revenue administration, and we also initiated the amendment of the revenue laws of the state, even the law establishing the Board of Internal Revenue itself, and the rates and tariffs and taxes laws in the state. We also reviewed the laws in collaboration with the State House of Assembly, and we brought in a stronger management, with better equipment, with better. We reposition the Board of Internal Revenue in terms of the law, in terms of the remuneration of the workforce, and in terms of the management and even the staffing of the Board of Internal Revenue. And that's why we are getting some results. They are better remunerated, they have better equipment, they are better focused, and they're doing well so far.
You have been saying that you will succeed in blocking leakages. How much of that was done along the line?
Well, quite a lot of leakages have been blocked, and we're still working on more. And by the time our committee that has been working on the salary, on the payroll of the local government comes up with this report, I've received an interim report. Many people, I'm sure, in Sokoto State will be shocked at the outcome of that, because quite a number of them, not in thousands, have been identified as ghost workers, just the same way we did with the state payroll. So we are gradually doing that. We have done with the state payroll. We are now doing with the local government payroll. We will proceed to the teachers' payroll, and then the pensioners, and of course the health workers. Gradually, we are achieving results. We are not in a hurry to kind of do that, because you normally meet some resistance from those benefiting, and those benefiting are in the system. So we try as much as possible to see how we manage their level of resistance and achieve our objective, and without being harsh, without sending away anybody.
Your Excellency, on assumption report, what is common in Sokoto metropolis and even across the state were the activities of political thugs, including area boyism. Why do you decide to refuse to harbor them?
These are people that I believe should have a more decent life. So I called their leadership and agreed that whenever we come back from campaign, they should disperse. Everybody should go to his house. And then the following morning, if we have reason to go out, then they can come back and we go out together. And over time, I made it clear to the people of Sokoto State and in these boys and girls that I have no accommodation, no tolerance for thuggery. If they are ready to become better students, we were prepared to help them become better students. And I kept on preaching and talking to them, and that's why a number of them dropped that habit, that attitude of area boyism, and became better citizens of the state. I encouraged them to be participating in empowerment schemes and empowerment programs, and brought them closer and be listening to them. What's your problem? Why are you in this? Because why should we be using these boys in such a manner? Meanwhile, we are sending our own kids to schools, and these children that are equally trust on us by the society that elected us, by Almighty God that gave us the opportunity, and then we decide to just allow them to be their lives to be wasted. So I said no, and they were really a menace and security challenge to the state.
Sokoto State, like any other northern state, has also taken its share of insecurity, such as kidnapping, banditry, and other sorts of criminalities. How have your administration been responding to that, seeing that even now the situation is not yet over?
Well, unfortunately, we started having these security challenges somewhere around 2015, toward the end of it, and 2016, from the flanks of our bordering local governments with the epicenter of banditry, with due respect, Zamfara State, and whenever they come under pressure from the security forces in Zamfara State, they veer off, and then they gain some reasonable establishment of some of their camps in Sokoto State. Sokoto was becoming like a safe haven for them, and they were launching their attacks both in Sokoto and in Zamfara from the precincts of those bordering areas, particularly of Isa, Sabo Milni, Raba, Goreyo, and of course Tureta, Kebe axis of the state. So we had to first and foremost sensitize the communities on the need for them to be working with the security intelligence security agencies by way of providing intelligence, and we had to also work along with the traditional institution under the leadership of His Eminence Sultan and religious leaders to be talking to those that can be identified, and to take them out of that, and Also equally important, we try to establish synergy amongst the security forces in Sokoto State. We were able to rally around everybody to work together, and the government was supportive, not only in supporting intelligence gathering, but in providing them with logistic support, vehicles. We have given no less than over 400 vehicles to security agencies in the state, and of course by funding their operations. Of course, that's the best that a state government can do when you look at the constitutional constraints that we have as governors of our respective states. And of course, we collaborate with the other governors of Zamfara, Kebbi, Katsina, Kaduna, Niger, and to some extent Jigawa and Kano when the need arises. We have been collaborating since 2015 together and sharing intelligence and working together and coordinating together to address the challenge. And we have been also doing that. Being a state that is having an international border with the Niger Republic, we border the states of Dosso, Tawa, and Maradi. We have always been meeting with the governors and security leaders of these regional governments of Niger Republic. And even in this month, in June, we are going to have another meeting in Sokoto with these, and of course, Sokoto State Governor, Sokoto, Katsina, and Kebbi and Zamfara are all coming to Sokoto for us to continue to collaborate with one another. So it's a very challenging one, but we're doing our best.
Okay. Your Excellency, what assurance do you have to the people of Sokoto State to ensure that by ensuring the completion of those particularly legacy projects ongoing across the Sokoto State?
We didn't embark on these projects without structuring the funding. We structured the funding from the beginning to finish. And I am confident by the grace of Almighty Allah that with the way we have structured the funding of these legacy projects, all of them, inshallah, are going to be completed.
Okay. Your Excellency, what do you consider to be most challenging in governance or in public leadership in particular?
Well, you see, there are competing demands of the people. When you are confronted with situations whereby you have demands as low as 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 naira that will make impact on the life of the people, and the demands of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 billion naira, 6 billion naira upwards that will have impact on the lives of the people, competing demands. And each of these is important to the community whose challenge you are addressing. Is very, very tasking. Sitting down to decipher and say, this is what I am going to do, is always challenging. Because what is important to this community may not be what is important to the next community. So getting the priorities right of individual communities has always been a very, very big challenge.
What makes you more happier in governance, and how?
When I see citizens of Sokoto State that are benefiting from the projects of the government, the programs of the government, smiling and expressing their gratitude to Almighty God and to the government, that makes me a lot happier.
Okay.
By the time I see an improvement in the life of my citizens.
Your Excellency, some technocrats attribute your magnanimity in leadership to your judicial, legislative, and executive experience. What is your view about their opinion?
Well, you have said it is their opinion, but all I can say is that as someone growing up from the family that I grew up, I saw it in my family, I saw it with my parents. Leadership in magnanimity, in accommodation, in tolerance, in bringing people together. It's part of what I saw growing up with my own father and his brothers and my mother and sisters that they were living together with. So it's like, for me, right from it's like home training.
Okay.
Not necessarily what I have learned in the four corners of either primary school, secondary school, or university, but it's a culture and tradition and training that one grows up with from parental background.
And that is why many are seeing you going contrary to other Democrats who, by handling the affairs of Sokoto State without any primordial sentiment. What legacy are you preparing to leave behind in Sokoto State?
I want to look back and see a much more improved Sokoto State in terms of human capital development, raising the level of the capacity of our young men and women, preparing them for the future, for the challenges of 21st century. I want to look behind and see a much more improved Sokoto State in terms of infrastructural development and a better and more healthy society, a more cohesive, a more peaceful, a much more developed Sokoto State.
Your Excellency, what are your hopes from the entire people of Sokoto State then?
My hope is that they should continue to support our administration, give us the support they've been giving us. We are very grateful to all of them. And for them to continue to look after projects that are executed by government in their communities as their own project. There is no project that is not for the people. The government itself is for the people. So they should imbibe the culture of looking after these projects and ensuring that they continue to use them and to continue to be law-abiding, to be respecters of rule of law, and continue to support the government of the day.
Well, viewers, thank you, Your Excellency. Well, viewers, that has been discussion, that is special discussion segment with the hero of success, the shining star of the moment, Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol of Sokoto State. Thank you for watching till we meet the other time. Continue to take safety measures against COVID-19 pandemic.